All right, hey guys, OFD checking in here, and it's time to take a look at the Tissot T-Touch Race. This is a new watch that came into the channel. This watch came from Joma Shop, guys. Not the first time I've checked out a Tissot on the channel, and as a matter of fact, the last Tissot I got, which is this, my Powermatic 80, my PRC 200, I got it from Joma Shop also, so always good dealings with them. Absolutely love this watch. I should probably do a follow-up review as I've had this watch for a couple of years, and it's really a stunner. 200 meters of water resistance, 80-hour power reserve, just a great all-around watch. But let's talk about the Tissot T-Touch today. Now, guys, these are just a completely different watch, and if you guys aren't familiar with why they're called the T-Touch, is these have a tactile sapphire crystal on them. So at the 10-minute marks all the way around here, and we'll get a little bit closer to show you, but you can see there's actual functionality that will be activated by actually touching the crystal on this watch. So it's kind of an interesting function. It's something that's been around for quite a while, and they've got a few different models out there. But let me go ahead and get into the case dimensions really quickly for this watch for you. You got a 43 millimeter case from side to side. You got 51 millimeters from lug tip to lug tip is what I measured. Comes in at just over 12 millimeters of thickness, closer to 13 at 12.8. And the watch, like most Tissots do, has an odd lug opening at 23 millimeters. So good size watch, chunky watch. You have this full stainless steel bracelet on it. Very nice accessories. And I will get into that as we go through the watch. But let me talk really quick about the functionality on this watch. Now, the Tissot T-Touches are activated by, there's always this main T button here in the middle. As a matter of fact, I'll show you there. It's got the T on the side. So that's going to be the button that you will use to activate and go through your different functions on the watch. So when you just push it now, you can see the little flashing T down there at the bottom. And if I touch it right in the middle, this will actually change my time settings. Now you can see I've got time 2 in the digital setting down here. If I push it again, it takes me to my options. My options, I'll kind of go through those in a minute, but I can change it from 24-hour time and whatnot. Also, touching it one more time will take me to the date function on the watch. I'll start up here at the top at 12 o'clock. This watch does have a tide feature. Now, this is something I haven't set. I'm in the middle of Central California, so I don't really use the tide function, but you'll effectively set this to high tide, and about every 12 and a half hours, the watch will adjust to follow that. Again, not something I'm going to use here in Central California, but if you are near the ocean or whatnot, you can use that. So after so many seconds, if you haven't activated, you guys can see it will go back to the main time mode. By simply pushing that button again, I can get it to go to the next function. So for lap, it's just as simple as a stopwatch there. You also have the functionality down here of doing split timing, so you can keep track of multiple events at a time. As you can see, I can move back and forth between the two just by touching the crystal. Pretty neat feature there. Both will stop and reset with the appropriate buttons here. Simple, right? Okay, pretty neat. Now, also here, you have a compass function. Now, this compass really likes to be laid flat. I've noticed that any slight inclination like this can throw you off a number of degrees. Compasses are generally meant to be used flat. I'm used to using compasses. Your minute hand will always point to north, which back there is north, where I particularly am, and it will split the degrees between there. That's why you have the degrees down there in the bottom window. Coming over here, you have an alarm function on the watch. You can see I have the alarm set for 5:30 a.m. Lets you know down there. Currently it is off with the push of, I do believe I think you have to hold down the button for a second. Yeah, I can actually turn it on and off, as you can see. So there. And then let's see, the very top one up here, this function is the, oh, I got it. So I need to actually set that. There we go. Now my alarm is actually on for 5:32 in the morning. I need to remember to shut that off tonight. So, and then going up here, it has a timer. You can set this timer for anything up to, I do believe it's like 60 or 99 hours before it needs to flip over. So it's a really cool function on the watch. So that's going through some of the T-Touch functionality there. The compass is one of the things I've always really kind of loved about these watches, something I really like to have on there. Now, like I said, going through just on the time zone, and when you want to mess with the time zone, you just touch it right there in the center between the hands, and you can see that scroll through there. It's really neat having that touch of that sapphire crystal, and it's live as long as that T is jumping down there. So going to the options, I'll show you. You guys can go through here. You can change it from 12 to 24 hour. Oh, that took me back to the date, so let me go back to the options here. You can do the 12 or 24 hour, and you can change that just by holding this button in here. We'll actually change it there. Kind of different. So push that, And then you can actually scroll through the beep. I have the beep on right now. You can turn the beep off. You can actually hear it beep when I push the button. Swap. This is so you can actually swap those two time zones. So like I said, I have East Coast time and West Coast time. So I can just basically hold it down here. And it's going to say yes. And then I will give it a push here. And it's going to swap those time zones on the dial. Now my digital will have my local time zone here. And then if I just want to hold it down again, push it. Now I can swap it. Now I swapped it once, so I want to swap it back, so I hit yes. Pretty different there, huh? Go ahead and push this again. Now this will put the watch in sleep mode. Watch this. Now the watch is basically, it's shut itself down. So say you're not wearing this watch a whole lot and you don't want it running and wasting the battery. You just take it to that sleep mode, enter it into the sleep mode, and let the watch go to sleep. To wake it back up, simple as that. Puts me back to my time, gives me my day and my date there. Now, if I want to have my second time zone at the bottom there, it's as simple as pushing that 2 times, and once it's done, I can just leave it set there, and it's giving me my East Coast time. So different watches, guys. I mean, they're really, really cool watches. I really, really appreciate what Tissot has done with the T-Touch. Now, it's a big watch. I'm going to go ahead and throw it on my wrist here. We will do a Loom Shot at the end. The loom is not super bright on it. I mean, it's got little loom pips. The hands glow fine. As a matter of fact, they glow all night, but you do have a backlight feature on the watch also. So what I'll do is get the watch on the wrist, and we'll dim the lights a little bit so I can show you guys the backlight function on the watch. So I love the way the watch fits my wrist. It sits very well. It's super, super comfortable, believe it or not. I mean, it really, really wears well. One of the things I need to remember to do before the Loom Shot is we'll take this off and I'll show you guys the case back. But I'll show you how the backlight works. You just basically hold your T button down, and there you go. You get your backlight. And I love the fact that on this T-Touch race, it's red. I think that looks really, really cool. So, you know, there's some neat functionality, some neat features on this watch. You have the alarm features. I do believe that there's actually 2 alarms there that maybe I didn't show you. But, you know, there's different watches out there in the T-Touch series. I really like this one. This does not have the barometer or the thermometer or anything like that, which if you know those watches, for them to even be functional for the barometer or thermometer function, you have to have them off the wrist for like an hour for the watch to actually get to ambient temperature of where you're actually at for that feature to actually work. So having the tide timer for me specifically is not a big deal. I suppose if you're in ocean racing or anything like that, that would be important. Maybe if you're a surfer, if you travel for surfing and stuff like that, that might be a really neat feature to have. For me, it doesn't work. The lap timers are great to have. The alarm is obviously great to have. The compass is what I really love on the watch, definitely. And having that countdown timer is nice because of the fact that I can use it for timing certain functions. Now, one thing I will say is the alarm quality on the watch is pretty weak. It has a very quiet alarm. It would wake me up, but I'll tell you, it is not very loud. G-Shocks are much louder as far as the alarm goes. And I don't know if that has something to do with the size of the case. I mean, this is a really beefy, strong feeling watch. It doesn't feel like a toy or anything like that. 100 meters of water resistance, by the way, on this watch. So you can wear it pretty much doing anything. They say they're not scuba diving watches, but they say they're tough and you can take the watch in the water, no problem, no issues. Taking a quick look at the case back, you guys can see you have a compass rose there on the back. The Tissot at the top lets you know that this is the T-Touch Racing, and sapphire crystal. Of course, it's a tactile sapphire crystal, meaning when you touch it, it activates it. And all stainless steel construction. Another kind of bummer with these watches is I do believe that when I need to get a battery swap or change in this watch, it definitely needs to go to a Tissot dealer. They're pretty adamant about that in the paperwork and their catalog and stuff. So real quick, another thing before I go to Loom Shot, I wanted to show you guys. If you've never bought a Tissot watch, I wanted to show you the packaging that Tissot watches come in because they go above and beyond for the price point of the watches that you get. So just taking a quick look at the box here. These are the boxes that Tissot come in. Now, if you're not familiar, in the back of the box, there is a little bookshelf here, and it looks like there's more books, but there's actually 2 books you get in here. This one here is actually the story of like the Tissot watch company, and gives you the whole history, which is a very rich history of the watch company. And then they're going to always include a catalog with some of their newest product available out there. So good stuff to look at there. Inside the box, what you get from Tissot, and let me go ahead and turn this around a little bit and show you. Inside the box, you actually have the nice pillow, obviously Tissot and whatnot. Now I'll show you guys the reference number on this specific watch. It's that big T002.520.11.031.000. So if you want to know the exact reference number, guys, there it is. Got the pillow, and then over here on the side, you've got these two little compartments. This is going to give you some information more on the functionality. And then over here, this would be your warranty card. Now, this was from Joma Shop, so they include their own warranty. And then I've got my extra links down there in the bottom. So really cool watch, and I really think that you get a lot. Sorry for the camera shaking there, guys. But you really get a lot for when you buy a Tissot watch. This one I got on sale. I had a coupon from Joma Shop. Guys, this thing came in, well under $200, which is really the only reason not the only reason, I've really always wanted these, but this retail price on this watch, I think when it came out was $650. I got it for well under $200 brand new with a coupon that I had, so screaming deal. So let's go ahead and dim the lights and let's go out with that Loom Shot here on the OFD channel. All right, guys, so like I said, not a lot of Loom on the watch. There is Loom, but you do have that backlight for that time zone, so you can just hold down the T button and actually light up the backlight. You have Loom, obviously you guys can see on the hands, and you have the Loom pips at the T-touch points. There's actually two little tiny Loom pips down here, but they barely even glow at all. It's funny, I just noticed them in the dark the other night, but they are there. There's two little Loom pips, but completely different, layout on this watch, completely different functionality. I love the fact that, at a glance, if you want to, you can have multiple time zones right there on your screen. I just think that's a cool, cool option to have. There we go. We got 2 time zones on there. Just a really fun, functional watch, great travel watch. At the price point, especially for under $200 that I got this from Joma Shop. I'll leave a link to the Joma Shop. I do believe they're available on Amazon also, but for the price, you really, really can't go wrong. It's kind of a do-it-all watch, travel watch, waterproof, multiple time zone, lap counter, split timing, timer. It just really has a functionality to do it all. So, all right, guys, that's been the Tissot 1853 T-Touch Race. Guys, give me a thumbs up down there at the bottom if you like this video. And if you've not subscribed to the OFD channel yet, please do. Please do. All right, thanks, guys.